For weeks, Bavino has overseen the surge of immigration enforcement in Minneapolis. Sources now tell ABC News he'll be leaving the city, with many Border Patrol agents leaving with him.
It's Ken Harbaugh with the Midas Touch Network. Bavino is out of Minneapolis at least. And that's a win for everyone, except those who think brutality should be government policy. We cannot let up the pressure, though. The Trump regime has done this before, offered what seems like a major concession to pacify critics, then returned to their same abusive policies. Bavino is a terrible human being. I did a Substack Live earlier today with Steve Schmidt, who said, with the kind of conviction that makes you believe it, that the descendants of the Bavinos and the Gnomes and the Millers of this administration will deny their own inheritance, will change their very names to escape the shame of what this government has done. But we are nowhere near winning this yet. Minneapolis has shown us how to fight back and that pressure works. But the rot doesn't stop at Bavino. He's a fall guy. It goes all the way to the top. Yesterday, Congressman Seth Moulton talked about the need to deliver Trump and the Republican Party such a resounding defeat in November's elections that they cannot try to rig them after the fact. Today, I'm talking to Jason Crow, another member of Congress, also a decorated military veteran, about the need to prosecute these government agencies and the people in them who have violated our rights and betrayed their oaths. Here's me and Congressman Jason Crow. Congressman Crow, Jason, great to have you on. I remember when I was sitting in your office just a few months ago, and you said, "We're taking names." That's an exact quote. The context was, are you committed to holding these ICE agents and CBP agents and the DHS officials who are violating Americans' rights? Are you committed to holding them accountable using the Article 1 levers to hold hearings and, if necessary, prosecutions? And at the time, it was controversial. I mean, we know that because some of your fellow Democrats have continued to support funding ICE, and you came out and said, "We're taking names," which got picked up all over the place.
Yeah.
I think that perspective has been validated. How are you feeling? How are your colleagues feeling? Can you help explain to us why some of them, as of a few days ago, still thought ICE deserved some of our money?
Yeah, Ken, I didn't give a damn whether it was controversial then, and I don't give a damn if people think it's controversial now. It's the right thing to do. It's literally my job. I took an oath to this Constitution. I took an oath to uphold the rule of law and to protect Americans and to protect my constituents. And that requires me to take names, to pursue accountability, to pursue justice, right? The bottom line is we have a rogue agency that's been allowed to run rampant, to be lawless, that is abusing American citizens, arresting people, denying them due process, deporting people without due process, murdering Americans. More people died in ICE custody in 2025 than in the last 2 decades, right? This has got to stop, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that it does. I came out weeks ago and I said, you know what? I'm not going to vote to spend a penny of American taxpayer dollars to support the whole Department of Homeland Security right now until there are immediate reforms put in place. At that time, people were like, whoa, what is he talking about, right? Damn, I was right then. I'm right now. This has got to stop.
No, I know. And I remember thinking at the time that it's hard to be out in front, especially on something like this. But there's also a line of thinking on our side that we don't want to corner a wounded animal, that they'll just lash out and act even more aggressive and more brutal. And it's being fed, honestly, by Bavino and others saying, hey, if you call us the Gestapo, essentially we're going to act like the Gestapo. Obviously, they're phrasing it differently, but you've got to have a response to that. It makes my blood boil. But when telling the truth is a provocation, how do we respond?
Listen, we don't allow them to ever dictate the terms of our job. And we don't ever allow their fragility, their ego, any fear of how they're going to respond to get us to back away from what our duty is and the moral clarity that we need in this moment, right? Our decisiveness, the strength that we must show, the moral clarity that we must show, that is our North Star, right? They will act the way they will act, right? We can't control that. We know that this president and those around him essentially act like toddlers half the time, and the other time they act like bullies. That's on them. That's not on us, right? We have to act the way that our duty and our obligation to this democracy compels us to act. So, that's our job, right? And we should never allow folks to sway the manner in which we engage with them simply because we're concerned about how they're going to respond to us.
I don't think any life that the federal government takes, especially in the way that ICE is taking them and CBP is taking them, is worth less than another. But I've talked to a lot of vets, and I'm talking to one now for whom the latest murder hit especially hard because it took the life of someone who was caring for our brothers and sisters. I am sure you've seen by now, gosh, it's going to be hard to even talk about it, the farewell that Alex read for the veteran being wheeled out of the VA facility where he was helping to care for him.
Terrence Lee Randolph, March 30th, 1947, December 10th, 2024. Today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it. May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom. So in this moment, we remember and give thanks for their dedication and selfless service to our nation in the cause of our freedom. In this solemn hour, we render them our honor and our gratitude.
How did it hit you when you learned that this was a VA nurse trying to help someone else when they shot him in the back?
Yeah, I also saw Mr. Preddy's farewell to the veteran that he had dedicated his time and his heart and his soul to caring and to ensuring a dignified end of life. Right. So this is a man who dedicated his life to our brothers and sisters. This is a man who dedicated his life to being a caretaker as a nurse and ultimately gave his life to defend those who needed a champion. So he led by example. He led with integrity. And we all have to carry that torch forward. We now have that obligation to make sure that we are acting in ways that his death is not in vain and that we live up to, frankly, his leadership in the moment, right? And everybody, there are so many people who should be, everybody should be appalled by this, but nurses and caretakers are up in arms. Veterans are up in arms. Our union brothers and sisters, because he was a union member as well, can and are up in arms. Gun rights activists, right? This administration's response was, hey, he was lawfully carrying a firearm, and that is now permission for federal agents to gun somebody down in the street just because you're lawfully carrying a firearm. If you're a gun rights advocate, you should be just appalled by this. So this is an affront to so many Americans in so many different ways. And let's also not forget, Ken, and I'll stop here, but I'm getting so angry about all of this, that this country was formed off of a response to troops and soldiers snatching people off of street corners, imprisoning them without habeas corpus, without a right, without a hearing. Like, there's nothing more American than fighting for liberty and pushing back against the abuses of folks like that we're seeing play out right now in our streets right now. And that's why it's just got to stop.
I've felt this pressure for years to constantly replace clothes as trends change or seasons shift, especially with outerwear and layers. Stuff that looks fine at first, but once you actually rely on it, cold mornings, long days, travel, it just doesn't hold up. And that's frustrating. This time of year, a good hoodie is essential. It's something you reach for over and over again. But finding one that's genuinely warm, comfortable, and built to last isn't easy. That's why I wear American Giant. Their classic full zip hoodie feels different the moment you put it on. The fabric has real weight to it. The construction is solid. It's made with the assumption that you're actually going to live in it, not just wear it a few times and move on. And it's built to last a lifetime. Slate magazine famously called it the greatest hoodie ever made, and that reputation is earned. From the cotton to the zipper, it's made right here in the USA. What I appreciate most about American Giant is the quality and durability. Every detail feels intentional. The heavyweight fleece, the side panels that give you mobility, the reinforced elbows, the double-lined hood. It has a clean fit that works whether you're traveling, working, or just trying to stay warm. And the more you wear it, the better it gets. Softer, more comfortable, more yours. American Giant obsesses over the details, and they're deeply committed to the communities that make their products. Everything is made in America, no exceptions. They make staples that are anything but basic, like the premium Slub Crew tee and the No BS high-rise and slim roughneck pants featured in Giant magazine. For me, clothing quality matters more than just looking good. I want pieces I can count on year after year. American Giant delivers that, and you feel the difference every time you put it on. This season, snag the hoodie that will bring you comfort for life, the American Giant Classic Full Zip, and save 20% off your first order at AmericanGiant.com when you use code KEN at checkout. That's 20% off your first order at AmericanGiant.com, code KEN. It's Ken Harbaugh with a quick break to tell you about something new. Battle Buddies is my latest weekly show where I try to find common ground with a conservative who I consider a true friend, David Bellavia, the only surviving Medal of Honor recipient from the war in Iraq. A Navy vet, an Army vet from opposite ends of the political spectrum, engaging in a civil conversation like we used to have. From the ICE immigration crackdowns to Trump's takeover of Venezuela, David and I take on the toughest issues of the day with genuine respect for each other, in spite of our very different perspectives. They're not always easy conversations, but they're always important, and that's something we need more of. Respectful dialogue between people who disagree, but who have figured out how to stay friends. Check out Battle Buddies today. 2 vets, 2 views, 1 nation. Find us on the Valor Media Network. The link's below. Thanks. What do you make of the argument by some that they just need better training, and that if we just give them money for better training, we can avoid tragedies like this? Look, I probably shouldn't even dignify that with a question to you about it. I'm going to channel Bill Kristol here. I don't know if you saw his tweet, but it hit the nail on the head when he said they are doing what they're trained to do. They don't need more of it. They are being told to go out and terrorize the blue cities into which they're being deployed. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is the feature, not a bug of the system, right? When it came to about a year ago, last spring, this administration, with the help of congressional Republicans, gave more money in history than this agency and others aligned with it have ever had. More than tripled their budget, bigger than the budget in the entire United States Marine Corps. And then on top of it, you have Kristi Noem and others. They've been sending out these recruiting videos that are encouraging abuse, right? So you're getting recruits who come in to this agency who look at these abusive videos and say, yeah, that's what I want to do with my life, right? Like, so they're getting the wrong people. They're not giving them training. And then they're giving them a license to operate with impunity and encouraging abuse and oppression, right? So